What's going on, family? What's up, fellas? Welcome to Manhood Monday. Man, I tell you, what a Monday. Where my glasses at? Oh, I got contacts on. Huh? What a Monday this has been. Man, how's your Monday been? It's been a character building day for me. But I am here. So tonight I really want to just kind of, I think I'm going to put my headphones on. My headphones help me to, it just helped me. So I'm going to put my headphones on. Is that all right? All right. So, yeah, I like that. Yeah, that definitely helps me. Welcome to Manhood Mondays. I'm your host, Clifton Brantley. And man, like I said, it's been a character building day, but I'm here. Life is life, you know. And so tonight I really just want to encourage you, brothers, because I recognize that, number one, marriage is not easy, right? And I know everybody's not married. I get that. But this first part, I guess I'm specifically talking to the husband. So it's not easy trying to be successful at a relationship that you were not prepared for. As a matter of fact, you were ill-equipped for. Most men show up to marriage ill-equipped for the work that it takes to have a great marriage, like emotional intelligence, emotional maturity. Most of us men, that stuff is stolen by the time we're 5, right? And so when we get to adulthood and women, they choose us, they think that they're choosing a husband, but they're really choosing a man, sometimes a boy. They're really choosing a man who really doesn't have an idea of being a husband. And if he does, he don't know how to be your husband. And so that can be difficult. But the title of this particular episode is Fight for Your Life. Why do I say fight? Why did I name this Fight for Your Life? Because, like, if you just do life at the basic level, at the level of mediocrity, at the level of, just passing time, you're going to have more bad days than good days. You got to fight sometimes for your sanity, especially if you have a wife. So here's something that I'm laughing because I was thinking about this this morning. I did a video this morning, right? And then I was about to say this. I said, no, I'm gonna save it for Manhood Mondays. And I don't. So I know what I'm about to say is going to possibly offend some people. That's not my intent, though. It's not my intent at all. Some folk won't like it, and that's okay. But here's the thing about men and being married. So one of the things I want to do is help you guys understand that I'm a husband, right? I'm not like trying to teach you guys how to be better husbands and fathers and things, and I'm not doing the same thing. So just understand that marriage is marriage everywhere. In the Obama's house, in the Beyonce and them house, in my house, in your house. Marriage is marriage. The marriage ebbs and flows for everybody. But because I'm a man, this is what I'm gonna say. Now I understand that my opinion is biased because I'm a man. But here's a conclusion that I came to. All of the women that I know, and I mean that I know, like I don't know. There are some people. Oh, I forget the disclaimer. All the women that I know. So fellas, here's what I want to help you with, so that you realize, okay, it ain't just me. Women are crazy. no, for real. Like, and see, I've heard women say, men are crazy, or men are this, or men are that. I'm here to tell you, women are crazy. I don't think that's necessarily a bad thing. It just is what it is. Now, why do I say they're crazy? I say they're crazy because they're so different from us. So they have to be crazy because we're sane, right? I'm being facetious, right? But no. What I really want to say is, I mean, that is what I want to say. But on a serious note, I say women are crazy to I guess to let you know the things that you're struggling with. It's normal. You can push through that and have a great marriage still, right? Now, let me give my disclaimer that I always give. I'm not talking about folk in abusive relationships. If there's any kind of abuse going on in your relationship, this message ain't for you. Man or woman, this ain't for you. Okay. But normal relationships, just get in your mind, she crazy. Why? Because that's going to help you deal with her better. I'm telling you. Don't tell her. Don't tell her the therapist said that she crazy. Don't do that either. But just get in your mind, you know what? She ain't all there. When it comes to like conflict or things that you want that she don't want, the reason why I say that, now this is not clinical advice. This is uncle advice. I'm uncle therapist today, right? Trying to help your brothers out. But in my previous marriage, this is how I was able to not be triggered when she did something crazy. I told myself in my head that she had mental issues. I never told her. Matter of fact, if she watched this video, it'll be the first time she's hearing it. But me telling myself that in my head, when she started to go off, I could like overlook it and say, oh yeah, she on one of them things. She tripping. So don't pay no attention to that. And I could deal with her still at a respectful level. I didn't have to get on the crazy train, right? So I say that though because yeah, women, every woman that I know, there's not a female that I know. I don't know that many. That's not crazy. I know some of my friends are watching this. Y'all crazy too. Okay. I'll be honest. All of us are crazy. That's true. But I'm a man, so I'm talking about y'all. But it's yes, all of us humans are crazy. That is correct. So anyway, what do I mean fight for your life? You got to fight for your happiness. You got to fight for your life to be enjoyable. Now, what do I mean by enjoy your life? So I want you to fight to enjoy your life on the planet. But enjoy does not always mean pleasure. Right? I'm not talking about have all the pleasure you want. That's a setup for destruction. Right? But I am saying enjoy your life to the point to where you are living fully. What does that mean? That means I'm giving as much of me as I can, right? I'm having as much fun as I can. I'm loving as deeply as I can. Now, one of the things that's going to help hinder you from doing those things is your own personal development. You got to work on you. And so when I say fight for your life, that's what I mean. Whatever you brought from childhood, don't let that stuff sabotage your life. Don't settle for not being able to communicate. Like, don't settle for being angry. Man, that's just how I am. It's not. It's how you've learned to be. Choose something different. You can. Because here's the thing. I can assure you that your wife is not going to give you a break for not being the man she thinks you should be. So at minimum, fight for your life so you can be the man that you want to be. Then maybe you can meet some of her, standards. But ultimately, if you don't do the work to develop, all of her complaints or whatever, it's just going to sound like nagging in your ear. Y'all going to fight, not going to resolve anything. And it's just going to be chaos. But if you work on you and she don't work on her, you still can have a better marriage, a better life. I just finished sharing in the challenge a few minutes ago that earlier this year, when I started to work on me, work on my humility, intention, service, and sacrifice, my marriage got better. I didn't say my wife's marriage got better, but mine did. Why? Because I saw things differently. I got less upset about things that would normally make me upset. I was like, man, I'm over that. I'm not getting upset, right? So, fight for your life. Here's some. I wrote a few notes, right? So here's what enjoy your life mean. Not just pleasure, but it means loving deeply and authentically. Just that part right there, you got to fight for. Most people, and men are people, most people are not authentic. Most people do not know who they are. While they're doing great things in the world, there are folk who run companies, $1 million companies, don't know who they are. How do I know? Because they come see me. They think that their money is their identity. I have so many, I shouldn't say so many, I've had several football, NFL players, ex-NFL players. And these men are young because, sports, your life is not long in sports. So these brothers are not even 30. But they're having an identity crisis because they're not making the money they used to make. And now they need to discover who they are. So what I want to tell you is do the work, fight for your life, do the work to discover who you are. Why did God put you here? What's your assignment? Whose life are you supposed to be helping? Right? Whose life are you supposed to be changing? And then another way to enjoy your life, another thing, what it means to enjoy your life on the planet, give your all to something worthwhile. Like, what can you throw all of you at? If it's your marriage, great. But if it ain't your marriage, what can you give all of you to something that's worthwhile? It could be marriage, purpose. Again, what's your assignment? Parenting. I'm going to be the best parent. But you can't say, watch this, you can't say I'm going to be the best parent and then you don't learn parenting skills. You're not going to be a great parent just because you love your child. I'm telling you what I know. You're not going to be just because you love your child doesn't mean you're going to be a great parent. I loved my children. I was a great parent until I wasn't a parent no more. And I look back and I was like, ooh, you dropped the ball a whole lot, sir. But at the time I didn't know, right? So throw yourself at something. And then, man, look, make a difference in somebody's life. If you've been watching me for a while, it is my belief that if the men would get in line, the women would follow. I just believe that. I believe that if the men would get themselves together, I believe if the men would learn to love, if the men would learn to forgive, if the men would learn to be patient and learn empathy and learn peace and learn gentleness, the women would follow. Now, when I say the women would follow, that's a general statement. Some of you women who are watching, even though this Manhood Mondays, some of you got your foot on your husband's neck. So let me talk to the husband. Husbands, you can still create a great life with your wife's foot on your neck, right? How do you do that? Well, you got to get it off, but the way you get it off is not by fighting her. You fight to be a better you, right? You fight to be the best you that you can be. Don't fight her. And I'm not talking about physically, but in other stuff, like stop all the arguing and bickering. Like for what? We're adults. But fight for your own sanity. Fight for the life that you can thrive in. Can I say it that way? Fight for the life that you can thrive in. Now, I understand that it's difficult to be great when you don't feel like you're getting the support that you need from your wife. I hear this all the time in my office. She doesn't support me. But usually when brothers say she don't support me, what they really are saying is she won't follow me. Maybe one of the reasons she won't follow you is because you're not submitted to the one, and then she's not submitting to you, the one being Christ. So don't think I'm being vague because I didn't say his name. I will say his name, right? But if you're not submitted to God, it's going to be difficult for her to submit to you. And if she don't submit to you, well, then you just keep being the husband that you're supposed to be. Let God work that part out, right? But man, like I said, I really just wanted to come on here and encourage you tonight because I know a lot of brothers are beat down, bogged down. It's the end of the year, right? Um, some of you brothers feel like you're just, your wife and family just see you like a machine. Like your job is to work, come home, have no complaints, have no needs, meet all of our needs, and you be a robot. And how do I know this? Because I see it. I hear the complaints, right? And so I want to tell you, don't give up. Don't call the lawyer. You don't have to get a divorce, right? Just keep fighting. Keep fighting for your sanity. Listen, I tell folk all the time, your life is your responsibility. God gave it to you to make great. Get out of trying to use your wife or someone else for your benefit to make your life great. You make it great. You do the personal development. If you want to go back to school, go back to school. If you want to learn a skill, learn a skill, right? Don't allow your lack of support or your lack of knowledge even to stop you from being great in whatever area you want to be great in. Because the lack of knowledge, like in this day and age, we live in the information age, right? Whatever you don't know, you can get it. You can search it, or you can take a class, you could take a course. There's no reason for ignorance in 2022. So, my question to you is this: what's keeping you from being great? Like right now, what's keeping you from being? Is it money? Is it stress? Is it the disconnect between you and your wife? So I know for me, it's extremely difficult for me to be productive, whether it's for y'all or whether it's, something I'm supposed to be doing in the office. It's extremely difficult to be productive. Well, me and my wife are not good. And I presume I'm not the only brother. So what do you do when you and your wife are not good, but you got things you got to produce? You have to find a way to push through that, because what I've learned, and what you probably already know, if you don't do anything, tomorrow is coming. And then you're going to be regretting because you sat on the sidelines all day, or however long you sat on the sidelines, and work still has to be done. Life doesn't stop. That's one thing I said that why did I say that this weekend? I said that this weekend to something. I can't remember what it was. Was it my toothache? I've been having a toothache. Something was going on. I was like, man, life don't stop. Oh, I know what it was. I had a consultation on Saturday. So I went to bed late on Friday night, had a consultation on Saturday. So my alarm goes off at 9 o'clock, and I didn't feel like getting up because I had just went to bed. So I didn't feel like getting up. And it's like I heard the voice in my head acting like life, and it was like, life don't care. You can stay there, or you can get up. Life gonna keep going. So you can lay there and not get up. There are gonna be consequences whether you get up or not. It just depends on what kind of consequences you want. Do you want the consequence of strangers thinking that you're a flaky therapist, or the consequence of them saying, oh, he's professional, he's up early and he's dressed and he don't have crust in his eyes and he talked to us? But the point I'm making is life don't stop. Life don't care. You can so you can be great or you can suck. Life gonna keep going regardless. You can be broke or you can have money. Life don't care. One thing life is not gonna do is stop. So because time is a limited asset we have, don't waste it on stuff that's unproductive, like worry. Don't waste time on worry. And I'm not the I ain't perfect at it, but I try. Right? But don't let worry consume all of your time. Okay? And okay, so the question. So what's keeping you from being great? Not only that, what's keeping you from being the best husband that you can be? When you get to heaven, if you're going. If you're not going, then I guess this question ain't for you. But if you're going, when you get there, what you think God gonna ask you? He's not going to ask you, why didn't your wife submit? Why didn't your wife? He's not gonna ask you. He's gonna ask you, why did your marriage look like that? Why did you treat her that way. And you're not going to be able to say like Adam did, it was the woman you gave me. No, I'm talking to you. And so, fellas, I want you to be responsible for your life, because look, the way that you have a better marriage is by becoming better, not wishing she was better. Okay. You can't do anything about her. You can do nothing about her. You can pray for her. You can be patient with her, but you are the only one that you can change. And if you change for the better and she don't do nothing, then well, I guess she's trifling. But ain't nothing you can do about that either. Right? You have to be committed to being the best you, because you are the leader. Even if she won't follow, even if your kids don't respect you, like, do what you're called to do. Be a man. But I know it's tough. How do I know? Because, hell, I'm a man. It's not easy, but it's the requirement. What's the alternative? I can't, like, what's the alternative? I don't want to be anything else but a man anyway. I definitely don't want to be a woman, because they got too many issues going on, like bodily stuff. Like, I'm like that whole monthly thing. I wouldn't want that. Right? The whole menopause thing. I don't want that. Right? So I don't want to be anything but a man. But ladies, don't fool yourself in thinking that being a man is easy. Y'all at least get to be kind of human. We don't get to be human. Men, we walk around in these masks. And that's why I'm trying to encourage you, because we walk around in these masks and we don't get a lot of credit for the stuff that we do. But when we don't do something, when we do drop the ball, or we don't stop hearing about that. And so I just want to encourage you, man, not to give up. I've heard over the last, what's today? Let's see. Today's the 5th. Over the last 7 days, I've heard too many brothers talking about quitting and giving up because she won't get off my neck, because she won't, like, she's just relentless. And here's the sad part. The sad part is these are good women, actually. They just don't know how to love a man or know how to do marriage. Why? Because nobody taught us how to do marriage. That's why I have a job. I'm trying to help folk know how to connect, know how to forgive, how to communicate, how to resolve conflict, right? How to create intimacy. Speaking of intimacy, brothers, if you listen to my podcast today, I talked about vulnerability. You are not going to be able to create intimacy with your wife if you can't open up. That's something you got to work on, right? You got to work on your ability to be vulnerable. You have to. If you're not vulnerable, you can't give or receive love. When you're not vulnerable, your wife don't know you. It's like you're hiding. And so she don't even know who she's married to. So how is your wife going to love you when she don't even know you deeply? And she can't know you with you holding things in. Now, I understand that a lot of times when us men are not vulnerable, it's because we got like garbage in our tanks. We got to get that stuff out. That's where I come in. I can help you with that. But if that's not what you need, then just get over it on your own. But the point is, don't let like not being vulnerable be the thing that destroys your relationship, because it will, man. I'm telling you, it will. Like, you have to, if you can't be vulnerable with anyone else, you got to be vulnerable with your life partner. It's crucially necessary. That's why I harp so much on personal development, because I know a lot of us men show up to adulthood without the equipment we need. So you have to do the work, right? I heard someone say, it's not your fault, but it is your problem. You didn't cause it, but you got to fix it. Why? Because you're the only one that's living the life that you're living. And if you're going to constantly blame your parents, like I was in my 40s before I stopped blaming my parents in my childhood for what I was dealing with. And how that happened is I just had to come to a realization like, hey, sir, you haven't been a kid in a long time. So for you to say that you're still struggling with this because of your childhood, that sounds like an excuse. And I didn't know that until I had that revelation. Then I said, you know what? You're right. Let me go to therapy, do the work so that I can change to be better. Why? Because I want to enjoy my life on the planet and not be stressed by people pleasing and not be trapped by, being overly sensitive. Nobody can say nothing to me, and I'm always angry. Well, I didn't have anger issues, but some of you men got anger issues. Like, why do you want to carry that? And you're not happy. But see, a lot of times we choose women. Yeah, had to pause, see if I wanted to go down this road. But since I already started, sometimes, so we choose women who don't have the ability or the know-how. Really, that's not the issue. The want to know of how to support a man, how to encourage a man. I tell women this all the time. And if you've worked with me, I probably have told your wife, as a female, as a wife, God gave you the gift of influence. And if you use your godly influence, you can get your man to do about anything. Men, am I lying? Good men, we live sometimes to our detriment for our wife's smile. So when I say you can get him to do anything, I'm not talking about sex. Like, we want you to say, we want you to be proud of us. We want you to be into us. We want you to be like, wow. So if you wow us one time, oh, shoot, so let me do something else that I can wow her with. But fellas, if you don't have a woman to wow you, then you need to wow yourself, because, again, your life is your responsibility. All right, you can't just wait on them to, you can't just wait on them to fill you up. You got to have your own picture to fill you up. There's a story of support. There's a story of support that I want to highlight. Fellas, tell this to your, send your wife to me. Tell her to watch the video, because if you tell her, she probably won't receive it, because she's going to think you're trying to get over on her. And I didn't look this up, so I didn't know I was going to talk about this, and so I don't know the exact scripture, but there's a story in the Bible where Moses, the children of Israel, were in a battle. And it got to the point to where Moses, so the children, they're in the battle, and Moses had his staff. And so whenever Moses, he had his arms raised with the staff, the Israelites would win. They were winning. But then when he would drop his arms, they would start losing. And so I think it was, I want to say Ben-Hur and somebody, maybe Caleb, I don't know. Anyway, two other brothers saw this. And so what they did was they went over to Moses. I think they got him a seat, and they held up his arms for him so that the Israelites could win the battle. Now, think about the picture of that. The Israelites were the people of God. They were in this battle. God was fighting for them. But when the leader lowered his hands, they started losing the battle. Like, did God get weak and did he stop fighting? No, it's a principle at play here. The leader, when you support the leader, so let me say it this way. Sometimes when the leader gets tired, he needs his wife, I'm talking about marriage now, to come raise up his arms so that we can get the victory. What does that look like? So that may look like helping him look, if he's an accountant, helping him look over reports because he's backlogged. And I'm just making stuff up. You find out from your partner what support looks like, right? I'm just making up examples. These examples may not fit you, but you understand what I'm saying by support. So you find something. I mean, if you know you need support in a certain area, then you tell your wife, hey, can you support me here? But holding up his arms may look like, he's been working all day without a break, and so you bring him lunch, right? It could be the small things. But the main thing is you got to get with your husband, ladies, to find out what kind of support he needs. And husbands, you have to communicate to your wife the kind of support that you need. But here's the point of the whole story. If you want to win certain battles in life, the leader has to be, he has to have support. Even with God involved, got to have the support. Okay. So, I don't know who is watching. I know I have, it says I got 6 people, but, so you fellas got any questions? like I said, it's been a character building day today. Got some personal stuff going on with my family. As a matter of fact, I can say this much: y'all pray for my not my pray for my wife too, right? But pray for my mother. Some stuff going on with my mom, so pray about that. But if you guys got any questions, and it could be about whatever what I talked about tonight or anything, here's the thing, man. I could come up with topics to talk about on these Manhood Mondays, and it's a ton of stuff. But I really want to talk about the things that you guys want to know about. So when I ask you questions like, "Hey, what's something that you would like covered?" Like, respond, because I'm just give you the stuff that I want. Next, I'm not gonna say next week, because if something else comes up between now and then I hadn't really thought about it, then I'm gonna change it. I'll be like, "Oh, he wishy-washy." But soon we're gonna talk about sex. Let's talk about sex, baby. We're going to talk about sex. We're going to talk about forgiveness. I don't know if we talked about forgiveness in the last Manhood Mondays last season, but that's very, very important. I need to talk about forgiveness because a lot of times us brothers are hard-hearted, right? And we don't want to forgive people. We might forgive our wife, but it's some folk in your past that you may need to forgive. And so we need to talk about that. We're definitely going to talk about understanding. Right? That's kind of like the soapbox that I'm on these days. We're going to talk about understanding. If you don't have an understanding, you're going to struggle to have a relationship, period. How can you relate to somebody you don't understand? The Bible says, how can two walk together unless they agree? How are we going to agree if we don't understand each other? Right? So understanding needs to be a top priority in your marriage. Because why? You don't see what you think you see. You don't know what you think you know. You did not hear what you thought you heard. You saw something, but the meaning you gave it was different than what it actually means. And so, yeah. So I got sex and intimacy on the calendar. I got understanding. Would you guys like for me to do another trauma? I'm gonna do another with trauma with Dr. Juanis. That one was really popular last time. So I think I'm going to do a trauma episode with Dr. Juanis because some of you don't know that you're dealing with trauma. Some of you are stuck in your relationship and in your life because of trauma that you've labeled as, that was bad, but it ain't trauma. It might be. All right, so we talk about that. And then you guys can send me some other topics. Like you got my email address if you're on the list. All right, Clifton@CliftonBrantley.com. Okay. All right. So if there are no questions, and I know this tonight was kind of, I really just wanted to just speak to you and encourage you. Oh, we definitely got to talk about love. Got to talk more about love. Man, it's so interesting to me how many people say they love someone, but then their behavior says, I don't care nothing about you. And they still convinced that they love each other. I'm like, that's not love. You can't make love to be whatever you want it to be. You can call it like I can call these headphones. I can say this is a car all I want. I just said it. That don't make it a car. Like love is, you don't get to define what love is. And so we're gonna talk about love, and we're gonna talk about emotional maturity too. Might put those together, right? So anyway, thank you guys for hanging out with me. It's kind of like do pray for my mom, okay? We got some stuff going on in our family, just like other families. We're on the planet Earth, right? So it ain't nothing you ain't heard of before. I think, yeah, it's just normal human stuff. I appreciate that, Mr. Dunwell. I didn't know if anybody was enjoying this at all, but hey, my goal is to be a blessing. But I didn't. I apologize. I didn't get to have notes today, but I know that I can speak from my heart in telling you, brothers, that you need to fight for. You gotta fight for your right to party. But the party is not like the party at the club. The party is your life. You see how I'm stretching, trying to make that connection between party and life. You get what I'm saying? You get what I'm saying? Yeah, man. You because there's an enemy of productive living, and so he would enjoy you not doing anything with your life. I told folk the other day, do you realize that Satan does not care if you go to church? He don't care if you read your Bible. He don't care if you pray. He don't care about that no more than he cares whether or not you worship him. He don't care. What he cares about is that as long as you don't start living what you're reading, you can read the Bible all day, front back. He don't care. But if you start living it, if you start acting like God, now he got a problem. And most of us men, I done turned the corner. I guess I'm not finna end yet. Most of us men don't act like God. What do I mean by that? I mean confronting evil face to face. I mean confronting dysfunction face to face. I'm talking about looking in the mirror and confronting that dysfunction face to face. We don't do that enough. And if you want to have a great life, you're going to have to confront the enemy. Yeah, well, I'm not going that way, but yeah, you're going to have to do that. So anyway, let me go because I'm also hungry too. And I hope you guys, because it's late, I apologize, had the challenge. But anyway, thank you guys for joining. And if you haven't listened to the podcast, go listen to the podcast. And actually this time I did record a portion of it. So I'm going to post that as well. So you can watch the video or you can listen. But the only thing is I didn't start recording the video part until I was into it. And I was thinking to myself, man, you should have been recording this. And so I decided to record the video. But I'm going to post that anyway. It'll be kind of like maybe like the first 20 minutes. Maybe the first 10, 15 minutes. But it was 45 minutes total. So still some good stuff. Anyway, you guys be blessed by the best. And I pray that God blesses you with his most ridiculous blessings. All right, y'all take care. You're not going to end it? End. See, technology. Okay, never mind. All right, y'all take care.